Yeah, obviously, the game didn't go the way we wanted. Um, just a small sample of our season not going the way that we wanted. Disappointing from that aspect, and just couldn't ever get over the hump and put a complete game together. So, like I said, I think this is just a small sample size of what our whole season was. So, um, disappointed from that standpoint.
Yeah. Peyton, just want to start with you. I know this was your last college basketball game ever. What does that just kind of feel like?
It's bittersweet, man. I mean, it's the last game. You want to be sad. I'm not really sad because I gave everything I got. I came back from a lot this year, beginning of the year, so I feel like I gave it my all. And but it just, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that. But it's been a great ride, and I'm glad I got to finish it out here and come back to school I started there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask next. I know you went to Indiana for a year, but what is it kind of like, starting here at Ball State and then finishing your career with the Cardinals?
It's awesome. I just told the guys in the locker room, I appreciate them for letting me come back because if they didn't want me to come back, I wouldn't be here or coach. So uh, I just appreciate everybody, staff, janitors, all that stuff, uh, teammates, man, just for letting me come back and enjoy my senior year.
Yeah. And then coach, when it comes to the game, was it just the first half kind of like a knockout punch, or what would you say of why things seem to kind of falter?
No, I think first I'm proud of how that group of guys, competed and P and Mickey are a part of that. How they competed the second half. That's a difficult situation to be in. Um, I was anticipating us playing the start of the game like that. So we had a plan for it, and I was proud of a lot of those guys that got some opportunity that they probably hadn't seen throughout the year, the way that they competed and handled it.
Yeah, coaching, you talked about effort this year. You talked about guys being distracted by things. To you, what was kind of the reason the team in itself did not reach the goal of making the MAC tournament?
Well, we just couldn't ever come together completely as a team. I think there some underlying issues that just kind of hovered, and I think um, winning masks a lot of problems, and losing um, brings it out. And I think the last couple of weeks when our back was against the wall, we hadn't shown the ability when our back was against the wall to come out and swinging. And so when we got in that situation and weren't able to make some things happen, those things kind of rear their head. But they've been there all year. I did a poor job of bringing those things to the forefront and creating conflict in the middle of the season where we could have created some separation. And so um, that's a learning lesson. So, I've been involved with one other team in my 23 years that was similar, that reminds me of this team. It was my first year in Nebraska. I think we won 11 or 12 games. Had some similar issues. Um, and, we were able to make some changes, right the ship, and set a school record for conference wins the next year. So, I know what the issues are. I couldn't get them to the forefront to be able to fix them, and that's disappointing.
Yeah. I know, Coach, you said that throughout this season you believe this is a MAC tournament team, but now that you guys didn't make the MAC tournament, how would you describe this season overall?
Well, I think it's a disappointment. Like when you got to understand. Um, I didn't come here to Ball State and take this job to be in this position, and you know we we are in a situation where um, our basketball program is supported in a way that ranks 10 out of 12 teams in the MAC. And I knew that coming in. And I took this job because of the discussions with administration that a plan to change that. And the top five administrators, when I took this job, are four of them are in the Power Four, and one of them is in a conference office. So there's been a lot of change within our athletic department. And I understand, like when you walk in, and so there's no placing blame or pointing fingers. And This is not excuse making. This is just simply the truth. And I think you've got to be able to attack the truth to fix the issues. And so, you come in and you got a basketball program that had won 20 games. Obviously you don't think that's the problem. That's not your first issue to fix. But the issue is the level of support from within our university from a men's basketball standpoint. And I don't think enough people understood where we were. I knew that when I took the job, but there was a plan to fix it. And conversely, our women's program is supported in a way where they're first or second, I believe second out of 12 teams within their competitors on their side of the MAC. And they just won a MAC championship. And, it's fantastic. And hopefully they can break through and get to the NCAA tournament next week. And it'll be a great thing for the university. But the fact is that we're 10 out of 12. And in today's landscape of college basketball, you can't be your commitment to your program has to match the expectations. And there's nobody on our campus at Ball State, nor should there be, where the expectations are higher than the men's basketball program at Ball State. The commitment to our program needs to match those expectations. I'm sitting here in front of you, encouraged because obviously I think you've sensed my frustration the past 2 years because I knew what the issues were and I knew there was a plan to fix it. And then things changed and it takes time for people to understand. And I get it. And I believe that now there's been some conversations with the right people in the past 3 months that understand the predicament that men's basketball has been in. And I think you look back at, nobody, it doesn't matter when it started, there's no fault. Like this is the reality of the situation that we're in. And in today's college landscape, you just can't function that way. Like it's much different than it was 15 years ago. Hell, it's way different than it was 5 years ago. You've got to have the commitment and support to run a program that is competitive, and we need to catch up. And the encouraging thing is I think we've had some conversations in the past 3 months. I think we've had a conversation in the last week that is very encouraging from the standpoint of the people that need to know have realized there's a problem and there's an issue, and how do we fix it? And I'm excited to be a part of that solution. And so I think you sense that. And again, I'm not pointing fingers, placing blame, or making excuses. The truth is the truth. It's the reality is the reality. And in saying that, is there things that I could have done better? Absolutely. Like I start and evaluate myself first. And I think coaches are like coaches for most part have a very good self-awareness. And I think you're very critical of yourself first, and it starts and ends with me, and it rarely gets past that. There's some things that I can do better. There's some things I have to do better. There's things our staff needs and can do better. There's things our athletic department can improve. There's things from a university standpoint that can be better. And like I said, the encouraging thing is I think we're finally getting everybody that needs to be on the same page for the first time since Beth left. And it's, some of that stuff takes time. It takes evaluation. And then you got to go out and make it happen. And I'm excited. Like I said, I'm pleased and excited with the conversations that have taken place the last 3 months and how we can move this program forward and being competitive, because Muncie deserves it. Ball State deserves it. East Central Indiana deserves it. The state of Indiana deserves it for Ball State to have a quality basketball program.
And then I'll kind of ask Peyton, I'll ask you a similar question from a player standpoint. What can Ball State do better to get back to at least the MAC tournament?
I mean, that's
he doesn't.
I don't even know how to like.
Yeah, he doesn't know all the and they shouldn't. That's not problems for those guys to worry about. They just need to suit up and play their ass
Yeah.
off. That's not things for those guys to worry about, you know. And so
You said, Coach, that there have been conversations where you think things are getting better. Does it worry you that it's taken that long since some people left to have those conversations?
there's no reason to be worried about it. I think you've sensed my frustration for the last 2 years, and that's when you come in and like I said, I knew the situation Ball State was in. I knew they'd been in that situation for 20 plus years. I mean, you just look at and I took it because I remember and knew what it was, and then uh, I understood the predicament it was in. Like, you've had like Tim Buckley's a ball coach. Billy Taylor's a ball coach. Like, James Whitford understands basketball and can coach basketball. Like, you don't have a program that had the success and then it just falls off. Like, you have to figure out what those things are. And I think when I took this job, those conversations were had and a plan was in place. And then, people leave. It's nobody's fault. Like, there's no blame to place, but you have like, we finished fourth, won 20 games our first year. Like, we grossly overachieved our first year. Last year, I would say average. This year is average, and nobody's coming to Ball State to be average. And I think, in doing that, and me being vocal about it, I think has some people just didn't realize the position that men's basketball was in. And like, I think you can see the success that can be had. All you got to do is look at our women's program. They're supported in a way that's second in their league, and it has been for quite some time. So like, how did it doesn't matter how it got that way. What are the steps to fix it? And I think we have the ability to do that. I think we have some people in place that now understand, that maybe didn't know before, that we have the ability to make some things happen. So that part is exciting, and we still got to be able to go out and execute the plan.